Not a bad day in the markets yesterday, down a little bit. Bad day to report earnings. Last night and this morning, Pfizer's trading up. We got a few in the green, but holy smokes. Housing, DHI, Mickey D's. These stocks are getting killed. Market still hanging in there. We'll discuss all of that. We'll have a T3 guest at 8:35, and let's have some fun on this Tuesday. Pre-market prep starts right now.
Welcome to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep.
This is a volatile puppy here.
It's all about execution styles and strategies.
Okay, folks, we're leaking. We're down 9.25 handles. We're through yesterday's low. Got a little support in here. I'm not going to tell you where. The buck, it's down. The buck is up 8 cents, trying to get back to the high of the move, 104.27. TLT, can someone put their finger in the dike here? Down 8 cents, 91.51. Moving in on the July low. Crude shellacking yesterday, trying to bounce back today. Up 96 cents at 68.34. Gold up 8.30, 27.64. Silver in the green as well. Triple on a percentage basis, up 32 cents at 34.32. Bitcoin back over 70K. That's up 18.90 at 72,190. So we'll bring in Triple D and AB simultaneously. And a wise man once said, the wise guy in the middle, I'm just shorting everything ahead of earnings. I am shorting everything.
Today that would have worked. Today that would have worked. Today that would have worked.
Let's get into it because it's just been a slew of earnings reports and earnings bonanza this week. Yeah. And we haven't even gotten into the thick of it yet. Because of course we have all the major tech companies, not all, but a lot of the Mag 7 to report this week, but we did have a bunch yesterday after the close and this morning. Let's start with Ford Motor Company. Ford reported an EPS of 49 cents that beat the 47 cent estimate, but and sales also beat 46.2 billion against the 41.88 billion dollars. This shares were initially trading higher after those numbers came out, but then Ford came in and lowered guidance. They said that net income drops on pre-announced EV charges. So either way, the numbers themselves for the previous quarter were good, but then the forward-looking guidance not so good. You're seeing Ford down on that guidance, down 6.6%, down to around $10.60. Barclays came out and lowered the price target from $14 to $13 this morning after the report. So Ford gets an F for this report for that guidance.
It popped up. Actually, the earnings were okay. It popped up. It traded up for a good 5 minutes, and I think they were getting a hint of the guidance and obviously weren't liking it. Stock just started leaking here. It's kind of the day, though, where you report and you're like, yeah, they're going to sell you anyways. So Ford kind of led that off. And now it's just spilled into everything because we actually have some okay reports here this morning. And we've got some stocks getting hit on okay reports. And then we have some bad reports and stocks getting hit on bad reports here too. It's definitely, to Joel's point when he started the show, not a good day to report here. So Ford, Tesla, we know firing on all cylinders after their report. Ford apparently firing on no cylinders here, all the way back down 1065. We'll throw it to our technical analyst, Joel.
Oh, man. Well, there is potential support here. And I'll just give you the area. And I have to call it like 1030 because these lows are at like 1018, 1020. And then these lows are, so I'll call it like 1020 to 1040, potential support. I can just remember on this report, I'm like, oh, the big drop, it might hold 12. I couldn't have been more wrong. They hammered it this day. I'm pretty sure it was a report. Here's your support. You're back at the low of the move. I don't know how many times you can make money short and Ford down 75 cents, but I'm sure people are going to be trying it. Keep an eye for that 1020 area. Coming back on the upside, another big old gap to fill, and very disappointing after GM's report. GM holding in there. If it breaks 52, I don't know if it's going to hold in there. Tesla, good report. people not buying Fords. I mean, that's
I mean, and yeah, a little bit of the bar because GM obviously set the bar higher. I don't know if they're comparing them to Tesla at all anymore. It seems like Tesla's its own animal and doesn't move any of the other car companies. But definitely GM set the bar a little bit higher. So Ford comes in, can't get over that higher bar. And I mean, the value trap, it remains the value trap. People, how do you go wrong? 5-6 times earnings. They were saying that at 14, it's 10 now. So that's how you go wrong. Value trap central.
Wasn't GM actually trading down the morning?
It traded, so it was very interesting. It traded up on the initial report, and then they hammered it and it went down, and then they brought it all the way back up. The same as the banks. JP Morgan that morning was way up, turned red as it always does, and then they turned around and ripped it higher. Goldman Sachs was like the same story. So it was like the rip. We're selling anyways, because that's what we always do. And then there was buyers coming in. So, we'll see what happens when the institutional money managers get to their desk, at 9 o'clock, they start coming in. They're just waking up right now. They're just, stretching, getting out of bed. They're not
they don't. Dennis, 8 o'clock. Money managers don't get up at 8 o'clock.
What time do they get up?
I don't know.
They don't get up at 4 in the morning. I tell you that much. They don't trade at 11:30 at night.
They're gonna be when they go 24-hour markets.
They're gonna stay with the same hours. The volumes will still be high.
I want to be a money manager then, and
we need to be money managers. They get better hours. They get paid a hell of a lot more. Let's do it. We're gonna become money managers. Okay. Chat, would you throw us all your money? I bet they would. I bet some of them would give us money.
Dennis will be reaching out to you on Twitter.
No, don't even say it. Don't say that. But the fake accounts that are out there, don't say it. They counted the other day. My buddy counted. There was 13 fake Triple D trading accounts. I can't even Triple D trader accounts. I can't even keep up with them. So no, I'm not reaching out to you. No, it was a joke here right now. If I reach out to you, you'll know. So that was a joke.
All right, let's keep it going on the earnings train. Let's go to some home builders. Let's go to DHI. DR Horton reported, when did this report come out? Yesterday or before the open today? This came out this morning. So DHI reported EPS of $3.92. That missed the $4.17 estimate. Sales came in at $10 billion flat, which missed the $10.2 billion estimate. So missed on EPS, missed on revenue. They did raise the dividend from 30 cents to 40 cents. And then they said they see fiscal year 2025 revenue from 36 to 37.5 billion versus the $39.4 billion estimate. So that revenue guidance came in well below market expectations. So you got the triple whammy there, the miss on EPS, the miss on revenue, the miss on guidance, and as a result, stock is down $16.40 or about 9% this morning.
Home builders never miss. They never seem to miss, Joel, at least not in the last few years. So this missing, it is going to the woodshed, and they may not bring it back out from the woodshed. Not even sure it's going to survive the woodshed this time. So it's a big hit here, DHI. Always interesting. The setup wasn't great for the home builders coming in because, one, we know TLT is continuing to go down, which we can talk about in a minute. But, just two, even sentiment, we had a couple others report already, and they were hitting them on decent earnings. Miss as a home builder, you're in trouble. And that's what you're seeing here this morning with DHI.
Is this the one Warren's in? Or is that Toll Brothers? Isn't Warren in?
Warren isn't one of them, but it's small. AB, look in the background. Go Berkshire and see if he is in this one. I think he might be, but he's small if he is.
No, he's not in DR Horton. He is in. No, he's not in Toll Brothers or DR Horton.
He's in one of them. You're right, Joel. He's in one of them. I don't know which one either.
Spinner should know.
Spinner knows who's been with us longer?
He's in Lennar.
Who's been with us longer than Spinner? Spinner's got to be one. When did you start listening to a Spinner? Back 2013 we started. Is Spinner one of the originals? I think for sure. Long time. There's a few. There's been a few that have been with us for a long time.
People change their names.
They don't. You think it's all bots? Joel's like,
no. Spinner's not a bot. People have actually met him.
All right, so Warren is in Lennar, not DR Horton or.
All right, well, I don't know what I'll say. If you've been waiting for a gap fill here at 162.22, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it here. And so this is where you're trading at. I mean, I'll just look at these two lows. Well, the next low is 157.09. And then the next low after that is 154.38. I don't think you're gonna see those levels. I keep an eye on the pre-market low. Maybe a second. I don't know where. This is just such an ugly area on the chart with limited support. So let's see where the pre-market low is. If it holds that, you'll get a little bit of a bounce. If not, you just gotta if you want to buy this thing today, you're just gonna have to scale into it to try and get a decent price. But
I'm actually shocked how well, like, again, there are cracks, Joel. Like this DHI, this is a shellacking here. But there are, like, we started an AB with a fantastic title for the show today, The Tale of Two Tapes. And I mean, we really do have the tale of two tapes. And what it is actually the bond market and the stock market. Because the bonds are going in the exact opposite direction. But they always say the bond traders usually win in the end. And the bonds continue to go down. You can just look at the TLT, which is a great proxy for it. And I mean, it just continues down every day. I keep thinking, oh, it's got to turn. It's got to turn. And every day I come in, TLT is just down another 50 cents or $1. It's just steady, slow and steady down. At what point in time, and this is a good segue because home builders are very interest rate sensitive. At what point in time does the market start paying attention to what is happening in the bond market? Because the stock market and the bond market are completely separate right now. We know the stocks have held up. Even though the SPY is really going nowhere, it doesn't go down either. Q is kind of the same story. Really haven't gone anywhere in the last, month or so. Kind of in the same spot. But when, and I'll say it to the chat too, I'll ask everyone, when does the stock market start paying attention to the bond market and rates?
Well, I don't know.
Does it never? Is it just like, we'll just forget about it? Rates don't matter anymore to stocks. We don't care that the TLT has had one of its biggest down moves in probably 6 weeks that it has in years. Like, this is a huge down move, folks, for the TLT. To lose that much in 6 weeks, that's significant. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody cares. You know why? Because we got tech earnings, we got AI and NVIDIA. Now we have Tesla back driving the, we're fine. We got an election coming, and then, the next president's going to save the world, like we have all this. But what about rates? What about rates?
Decoupling,
what are you buying, Denny? What are you buying? What are you buying? Are you buying more NVIDIA? Or what are you buying? What are you buying? What are you buying? What about rates? I'm not buying that much right now because I don't like what's happening with the bond market.
Well, just looking at the CME watch tool, it does look like, at least for the next Fed meeting, which of course is November 7th, so like a day after the election, the CME watch tool is showing a 95% chance that we do get a 25 basis point cut. It does show, I mean, if you go out to like March 2025, that higher probability will be below 400 or below 4%. There. So the CME watch tool is still showing like we are expected to continue to cut rates, but I don't think it's necessarily problematic if you're long in the market. Like I'm basically just have my portfolio and I'm long. And if you told me right now, Dennis, that rates wouldn't continue going down as quickly as we thought, I'd be like, that's fine, because that shows that the economy is holding up. And then of course, depending on what we get with inflation data. But if you go back to when we got the 50 basis point cut last time, you had people, including people that came on the show, saying it'd be bad if we got a 50 basis point cut. It'd be a bearish sign because and so to see that we don't need to maybe go through more of these, faster cuts, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. As long as we have a strong economy, I'm fine with rates staying at around like 4% or higher.
So 2 comments. One, if you're a long-term investor, this is all noise.
Yeah.
Buy good companies at reasonable valuations. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of just being a long-term investor. I have no other job. My job is to time the market. My job is to make money and extract alpha from the market on a trading perspective. Yes, I have a long-term investment portfolio. And yes, I try to ignore it and try to just buy good companies at reasonable valuations. We all try to do that. You do it, AB, and Joel does it maybe the best of all of us with the long-term stuff because he's got some Warren Buffett blood in there. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury to just sit back and say, well, you know, I'm long term. So if rates, you know, continue to go higher here, it doesn't matter for me. It matters for me as a trader. And I don't want to be like saying, you know, we're entering a good seasonal period. November and December usually are pretty good for stocks. That's got it going. But I just cannot believe that the stock market, especially the IWM, this is probably the biggest separation that we've seen between the TLT and the IWM really in a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, IWM has completely ignored rates here now. It's sitting up here near the highs. Yes, it's underperformed, but at a certain point in time, I got to think that rates matter. If TLT goes sub 90, it's going to start getting headlines. Like, when is the last time they even talk? Like, I watch CNBC in the background. You know, I don't usually have it on mute, but, you know, it's up there. But I never see them talking. Although right now they're talking about bond market volatility, so they're making me out to be a liar. I just looked at the screen. But, and the path of it of rates. But, I mean, at a certain point, it's going to start to be the talk of the town. If TLT starts falling under 90, people would be like, what's up? And I got to think the interest rate sensitive stuff gets hurt. I got to think today might be a day they start listening, because you've got DR Horton, which is a very interest rate sensitive company, lowering guidance here and going down 10% in a day. That is a hammering for a stock that is usually really kills it on fundamentals. Like, these stocks really do well. You know, they've been doing well even, in other periods. But, when you're lowering guidance and you're a home builder, I think rates are a little bit to do with this. Long-term rates have got to be playing out here. So just, somewhat, be careful just blindly buying anything here right now, because I got to think that rates come into play.
And also you had the period where the stock was going up in the face of rising interest rates, which was, just broke all the textbooks. And now, well, rates are stable. They're not coming down as much. This is baffling as everything is in this market. Maybe we should change the name of the show. What about this? What about this chart? Look at the XLU. Like, and you talk about decoupling with the IWM. How about the decoupling with the utilities in the TLT?
There you go too. I mean, and the utilities have been cushioned because of this AI energy trade. That the AI is going to be so powerful, going to need so much energy that it doesn't matter. Rates don't matter to you. It used to just be TLT and XLU were just linked at the hip. It did not matter. TLT goes down, XLU goes down. It was like clockwork. That relationship is completely broken because everybody has this belief that everybody's going to need, and maybe it is, maybe it's right. I don't know. I don't crystal ball, but we're going to need so much energy that we don't care about rates anymore. We just have to buy utilities because we need so much energy. That might actually be a bubble.
Keep an eye on it.
All right, let's get back to some earnings reports, because we do a few more before our special guest comes on today. Let's go to PayPal real quick, which reported today before the open. PayPal reported EPS of $1.20, which beat the $1.07 estimate. Sales came in at $7.85 billion, missed the $7.88 billion. So mixed report there with the beat on EPS, miss on revenue. They said total payment volume increased 9% to $422.6 billion. So PayPal, I mean, it is a huge company and seems to be, continuing to grow. Yet the stock has just been kind of a dog. It's come back recently, though. But either way, off this report, the stock is down $2 or 2.5%. So a little bit of a disappointing report from PayPal, but certainly not a disaster if you're a long-term holder in this stock.
And it was a disaster about 20 minutes ago. Unbelievable. They must have said something on the conference call. This was down under $74. This was down almost 10 points.
Let me see.
About a half an hour ago. Joel, did you see it?
I'm looking at it. It's $73.19.
$73. This was down $10. It's down $2 now. So buy the dippers did come in PayPal here. They came in and they are like buying the dip as fast and possible as they can here. But it's still down $2. But there's been some wild trading action. Last night, somebody was buying PayPal. They must have thought they had the report or something. This is a joke, but they could not stop buying PayPal last night. It was 85, 85 and a half, 86.
Really?
It was trading so rapidly. They were just lifting offers. Like I said to another trader, break trade. I'm like, did they report? Did they report? Because it's trading like it reported. I'm like, I don't have a report. And then I'm like, no, it didn't report. Just somebody has to buy this thing. I actually shorted some up at 85.5 last night because I'm like, they're giving me a 2-point lead. PayPal is a perennial disappointer. And we're entering a season, it seems to be like that they're starting to hit earning on good, or hit stocks on good earnings again. So I did short this into the report. I covered way too soon. I had no idea it was going to go down to $73. That's just crazy, in my opinion. Back down 81, probably where it should be now. But wow, overshoots in both directions.
Was this a funky 8 o'clock print? This 86
Yeah. Ignore those. That was a print from last night, though. That's a funky print, but that print was happening last night. That's your Robinhood. Where was that? Where was the high on those funky prints? Because that's your Robinhood highs last night.
86.98.
Yeah, $87. They're buying. Who's buying stocks $3 higher ahead of reports? Wow, that's a way to piss away money. Okay,
wow.
You can learn anything from this show. Don't pay up $3-4 in the after-hours session ahead of a report. You don't even have any information, unless you're that insider, which probably there is the odd person, and they just know. But I mean, if you're just blindly buying stocks $3 up on, before they report, that's a good way to just throw away a lot of money. Because in the long run, you're giving up so much edge. I mean, what was the expected move here? Let's go look at the expected move. Like, they're almost paying up probably half the expected move, maybe more, ahead of the report. This is crazy. Like, some people just get too excited, and they're like, me included, but some people get too excited on their buy button. Too excited on their buy. So the expected move on PayPal was $7. So they were giving up they were giving up the whole upside. I mean, the calls were going 370, so they basically paid up to where the calls were going off. Wow. Holy.
Wow. All right. I'll just boy, there's a lot of action here. I'll just throw out the high, throw out the low, and I'll look at from the pre-market, that is. To me, it's all about $82. I mean, if they can get back above, fill the gap at yesterday's low, 81.88, then you take a shot at the close. If the sellers just line up there and they can't get through 82, then just go back to your daily levels. I would have said before all that crazy action, multiple lows at 80. So let's see, 80 to 82. That's a battleground there in PayPal. And so you said the expected move was 7. The close was 81.70. So if you're paying $87, that is almost
close was 83.59, Joel. So
83.50.
They paid up $3. They paid up half the expected move.
Okay.
Ahead of the report. That's
ahead of it.
Ahead of the report.
Let's stay in this space.
Good job, Aaron. Rate us in, Aaron.
Let's stay in this space real quick.
Okay.
Go to Sofi real quick.
What's the space? What are we doing?
We're going to stay in the fintech space. Sofi reported earnings this morning as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sofi and PayPal kind of, similar, not the exact same, but they're in the same space.
Sure.
Sofi reported sales of $689.4 million, which beat the estimate of $632 million. So significant beat there. EPS came in at 5 cents, beat the 4-cent estimate. They said they see fiscal year 2024 revenue of $2.53 to $2.55 billion. Previously, that was $2.4 to $2.46. So raised the guidance above the estimates. And honestly, if you would have given me this tape with the guidance and everything last night, I would have guessed that Sofi would be trading up much higher than it is right now. It did get up to about 11.90 or so, and now it's back down to 11.50. But I think, and I don't, I think this seems like, Sofi has been kind of a growth company for a while that was, not really making money. And now it seems like they might be turning a corner here.
Yeah, the story has turned for Sofi. We've been talking about it, the breakout over 9, the breakout over 10. I've been playing from the long side. It's been a good one there too, just buying it overnight because it seems like it's bid up every morning. Now you have the earnings, so now obviously, and how I love to own stocks ahead of reports. I've been buying this one every day ahead of the report and then flipping it out in the morning. I didn't take it through the report, though. I didn't have the guts. 11.43. Where'd it get to, Joel? Almost 12?
Almost $12 there.
Yeah.
Almost got to $12, and you're leaking here. 11.99. You haven't been up at the 12 cut. You haven't traded over 12 since March of 2022. But since we're here at 11.44, this is the one where you need to look right just look right. If you triple top 1130 area, you hold that, you're good to go. You're good to go north. You're good maybe to test that 12. I just like it. Don't hold this 1130. Then you see the support at 11. But very important for up 24 cents after this big rally to keep a bid above that triple top.
I got to think if you get a pullback to that 10 area, there's going to be buyers down there. Not saying it's going there today, but if you were like looking for a long-term entry, I'd rate that number down because it's psychological. You kind of have turned the story. You probably get close to a 50% retracement back then. I think that's where I'd be looking to buy. But the story is hot right now, so it could continue. I would say at this point, if you were like chasing it, I'd say I'd have to say you probably have missed most of the move.
Yeah, and Hood is trading up again this morning.
That's off crypto.
Yeah, I mean Hood has just been if you bought Sofi, you bought Hood when they were at their lows, a few months ago, like you got rewarded heavily here. So all right, let's continue with the earnings though real quick. Let's go to McDonald's, which the call starts here in 4 minutes. McDonald's is expected to address the E. coli in the earnings call, which again starts at 8:30. They did not nothing in the earnings report that came out this morning at 7 a.m. mentioned or gave any color on the E. coli situation. So they are expected to address that in the call. But McDonald's reported an EPS of $3.23. That beat the $3.20 estimate. Sales came in at $6.9 billion, beat the $6.8 billion estimate. Reports global comparable sales decreased 1.5% in Q3. Reported, let's see, so consensus, but falls short on comp expectations. So you had the double beat, but then some, kind of not so great sales numbers there, bringing the stock lower. And maybe the bar was just set a little bit high because we've talked about how McDonald's is best of breed in this fast food class. So to see them, beat, but not by that much, maybe just a little bit disappointing. Stock is down $7 or 2.3% this morning.
Obviously, it seems like they're getting past it. They're bringing the quarter pounder meal or quarter pounder back on the menu as of yesterday. So it sounds like they're past this. If they mention on the conference call, that could be a pop off that and say, yeah, we've got this beat. So just careful. I would say careful ahead of the call. I don't know when the call starts. You said starts right now. Starts in a few minutes.
8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. So yeah,
8:30. So starts in 2 minutes. So I would imagine, like, it sounds like the rating is on the wall, and they're probably going to say something. Maybe they're past it or something. If they say something like that, I'd expect the stock to get a pop because the algos will buy on that. So just careful if you're shorting this in the hole.
Boom, traded down $7 here. You're making a new low of the move. So the bulls absolutely have to make a stand here at 290. There were a couple daily lows in this area. You lose 290. I mean, there's areas of support in the 280 handle, but very important. But for this one, it's turned. It's like, and I'm not nowhere near a Boeing, okay? But it's just like there's a negative news flow out there. There's a negative catalyst. And it tried to fill the gap and it couldn't. So the last time you were down here, you had all the people that were like, oh, McDonald's drops 30 points in one session. You got to buy it. That's so many standard deviations. Those people bought and they sold. Now it's coming down here again, and they're going to be like, earnings. Maybe I'll try this trade again, but not here at 290. So I'm not optimistic.
There's definitely support down lower, and I agree that you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I'd be scared to short it here because I think they may say something on the call about getting past this E. coli thing, and it could pop out that. But to AB's point, it doesn't sound like the guidance was that great. It doesn't sound like, the results were just killing it. And I mean, McDonald's obviously had some issues earlier this year, and, they came back, the value menu helping along. Everybody's excited for, a cheap McDouble, but I think, you're in line in the sand there, Joel. Let's just take the low, 280 from that pre-market low that day or after hours low that day.
Yeah, well, I can't remember.
Yeah. I think that's where it was.
Well, you did go to 286. You did go to 286. Why did I go to daily? I wanted to go to 60 minute. You did go to 286 in the pre-market, and then on the day when everyone The low on that day, October 22nd, 282.22.
282. That's why we're pre-market prep. We give you those pre-market and after hours lows. 282.
Man, oh man. Not hungry for McDonald's.
All right, let's do one more earnings report here before our special guest of the day. Let's go to Crocs, which was probably your, if you take out DR Horton, probably Crocs is your disaster of the day.
Yeah.
So Crocs reported EPS of $3.60, which beat by 49 cents. Revenue of 1.06 billion, beat by 10 million. So double beat there. But the guidance here. Let me get the exact guidance number.
Yeah, get the guidance.
The consensus for EPS for Q4 was $2.72. That was the expectation. Crocs come out and said Q4 EPS is going to be anywhere between $2.20 and $2.28. So that EPS guidance missed by about 50 cents there, or 20% there, which is a significant miss on that guidance. And then they said the Hey Dude brand to be down approximately 14.5% versus prior outlook of down 8 to 10%. So this Hey Dude acquisition that Crocs did a few years ago doesn't look too hot right now. Crocs is trading down $16 or 11.7%.
Guidance always trumps earnings. So, guidance, it doesn't matter. You have the best earnings in the world. You lower guidance, it's going down. It's just that simple. And this is another, fact where, you look to levels, Joel Elconin levels, 112.50 was the low back on the 5th. So, I mean, that's the August 5th low for everything. We didn't get there, right, Joe? We didn't quite get
116. 116. Yeah.
But there ain't nothing in there.
I know. And look at you did the levels well on that one. Skechers. Now, did they report the other day?
They did.
Yeah, and then they got
did. It really chopped around. You can see that crazy candle. I believe that was crazy candle day.
Yeah, Nike. I mean, since that reported, that's just been leaking. I mean, the only shoe. I mean, that's it. ON. I mean, that's the only shoe company.
It's all about on. Double on.
Yep, that's it,
Double
man. Everyone's back. I'm gonna go get a pair. I'm gonna go buy a pair today. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go buy a pair.
Double on, and everything else is
all right. Off. JR's been back there. He's been so patient, listening to our nonsense here. Yeah, let's bring JR in here, and he can set us straight on the market.
All right, y'all know what it is. It's T3 Tuesday. We've got JR Romero coming over from T3. Without further ado, let's give him that intro and see what JR's been trading. All right, JR Romero coming from T3 Trading. How are you doing this morning, JR?
Oh, mute check.
Got you on.
He's back.
That was inevitable.
All right. Well, we got past it. JR, I mean, so kind of an interesting, time right now. Of course, we're in the biggest earnings week of the year so far. And then, the election next week. So lots to talk about. What has been top of mind for you?
I think you guys named it perfectly. It's a tale of two tapes. You can, stay in the indices and get shopped around all day, or you could be, hanging out of your pantaloons and trading MSTR for a 12-point trending move all day. That's or OKLO, So it's a choose your own adventure kind of madness right now.
So you're going into, you're trading these stocks that have momentum either like one way or the other. I mean, obviously Oklo and MSTR have both been on a tear. But I mean, what about just crypto as a whole right now? Like, have you been playing the crypto space, buying Bitcoin, buying MSTR? What have you been doing in the crypto space?
Yes, it's totally absurd. I've been buying Bitcoin since 62,000. I mean, I feel like I need to get a propeller head and a pair of glow sticks and go on a raid. You know what I'm saying? I'm a pragmatic guy. I buy what's working. If you look at the weekly chart of Bitcoin, it looks like Godzilla and a cup and handle had a baby, and we're going to be massively breaking out. I have a declining or rising tops line with this $91,000 target on this thing. I'm almost embarrassed saying this, but I really do think it's become a meme. Bitcoin to 100,000, but the chart really seems to be indicating that it's very likely that we go to 90,000, 100,000 in the next couple of months.
It kind of feels inevitable, doesn't it? Like the 100,000 Bitcoin, because people talking about it, and it's just like, I know we're a long ways away from there yet. We're not going there next week or anything, but it kind of feels like eventually we're going to get there. I'm a hodler too here, JR. I got some Bitcoin just tucked away, and I don't look at it here. I actually looked at it yesterday. I was looking at the long-term portfolio because the long-term portfolio is doing pretty good right now, and I was like, holy, that Bitcoin's come back a long ways.
I know. I've been telling my room, I'm going to hold my nose and start accumulating this thing around 60,000. I think we're going to break this right handle eventually, and we have top of value around 71,000, and I really do believe that if I believe that if the market anticipates a Donald Trump victory and the perception that administration will be a little bit more crypto friendly, that you're going to just have a rally in the name. So it's been playing that sentiment. I mean, I'm not making a political statement in any way, shape, or form, but that just looking at the sentiment and betting markets, I feel like that's helping crypto. We've been in MSTR since 187. We had a beautiful monthly breakout there on MSTR, and I think this thing's going to 300 like tomorrow. I mean, it's just been absolutely bananas. So yeah, I think the crypto trade is on.
What happens to Bitcoin if Trump loses?
Probably a whole lot of chop. I mean, yeah. Typically, what gives me the warm and fuzzies with crypto is a lower DXY, a lower dollar. Then this weird dynamic we're seeing in the market, where the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are sort of consolidating higher as bonds sell off and the 10-year yield rises and the dollar rises, is really starting to give me the heebie-jeebies. If you look at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, you'll see it's forming. I'm a pretty old school trader, so I still talk about rising and falling wedges. But if you look at the Qs on the daily chart, you'll see it's forming a sort of a gnarly rising wedge on weakening technicals. I'm not sure how much longer we can continue to chop around like this with a 10-year yield over 4.283 or 4.25, and a dollar DXY is going to bump its head into 105. How do we get through that kind of headwind is my question.
Well, I'd imagine this week we'll see either a leg up or a leg down after we get reports from, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google. How are you playing these earnings reports? How do you have any setups that you like, JR?
So I like to buy the earnings run up and then sell right before the earnings report, because I'm a little bit of a chicken when it comes.
Strategy. I love that strategy.
Yeah. I mean, buy the rumor, sell way before the news. So I sold PayPal yesterday because I thought it was going to fall on its face because it's PayPal. Yeah, no, I mean, I do. I make it fun for my traders. We make kind of trading the earnings report a sort of a sporting event after hours, and I do really well trading earnings. It's a real, in my opinion, trading after hours earnings is a real tape readers type of affair, and we do great trading all the Mag 7. The big concern for me, and I'm a technical trader, and I do trade a lot of intermarket relationships, but I do have a fundamental concern, and that's I keep on watching the household savings on Fred and credit card debt, and that inversion just keeps on steepening and steepening and steepening. And I'm just wondering, at what point is it going to start affecting earnings reports in a sort of really unsustainable negative way? So that's what I'm watching for, especially when we're seeing, this advance, which was really strong in August, but now, especially in the NASDAQ, I'm seeing a lot of, negative divergences that can often point to a nasty sort of reversal. So, I'm seeing weaker volumes, weaker breadth, oscillator divergences that, preoccupy me a little bit. So this earnings is going to be key. It's going to be really important.
Let's jump over to this, individual stocks here. I don't know if you were trading Tesla, but obviously it had the big move off of earnings. We saw Netflix have a big move off of earnings. So one, do you look at the moves of the other couple of Magnificent Seven to try to extrapolate anything into the Microsoft or, Google report tonight? And two, what are your thoughts on Tesla?
My thoughts on Tesla? Tesla's one of those idiosyncratic companies and names. I think Tesla is an absurd name. I'm also really bullish on Tesla, and I think it's going to continue to be valued highly, and it's going to continue to do well. They have a sort of a precocious man-child for a CEO, but the company continues to catch a bid. No matter how bad the news are, eventually, I think what happened with Tesla is kind of funny, despite the semi-tragic circumstance. They had at the event, they had someone who was really sick, and they delayed the event. And I think there was a lot of information we didn't get during the event that they came out during earnings and caught a lot of shorts with their proverbial pants down. And I think that just amplified the woe factor when it came to the earnings report. And you went like gamma positive in a sort of release the Kraken kind of way, and and now you have just a really violent mover. But no, it's been fantastic, and we've been trading Tesla really aggressively, and thankfully catching those moves off the opening range breakouts. It's been really fantastic.
So Google tonight. I'm going to throw you right under the bus and just ask you, what are your thoughts on Google heading into the report?
Well, obviously everyone's looking at the advertising numbers. The problem with Google is the absolute regulatory nightmare they've been under. They've got the Eye of Sauron from a regulatory perspective on them, and it's one of those other names where I think that once we have a clear electoral picture, it's going to be much easier to trade. That being said, Google on the daily looks really interesting, right through 169, 170. You've got sort of a V bottom and a platform there. You're over the pivot high anchored VWAP. Technicals look good. You had a strong rejection yesterday at 168.70, and then a sort of a meta. There was a story about a meta AI search engine. So you got a little shake out there through the anchor, but I do believe that if this thing holds a bit over 170, that you're going to see a significant retracement back to all-time highs. So,
JR, I don't know what your preferred index is, as well, the S&P or the Qs or the IWM, but like right now we're stuck. I mean, we are looking at the S&P, and I have a couple levels. One, if we could hold above, I would get really super bullish, and that 6K figure that people are talking about. And I got a level on the downside where I think, we take that out, then we're in big trouble. Do you have a preferred index and preferred levels where you're looking for, sustainability or a breakdown in?
Well, I'm a whatever's working kind of guy, Joel.
Okay.
If it's moving, I like it. so I'm
So no.
not terribly.
Okay.
Yeah, but SPX, I've got 56.75. I think that's going to be a key level to hold. I think it would be probably pretty healthy for us to come back, retest a level. Like if you take, if you profile, if you actually profile your SPX year to date, you'll see you've got a really important level at 57.78, which coincides with your 21, and then a giant volume node right at 56.80 or so. So a lot of prior liquidity there. I think that level holds for now. On the NDX, kind of a similar story. I'd like to see 19,700 hold. We'll see. So if we get that rising wedge sort of falling apart like the Titanic, like in the movie Titanic where the guy's playing the violin down the I'd like to see 19,700 hold. That would be the level to watch.
All right, JR, we've got this QR code up on the screen. Sign up now to trade with JR all week in his virtual trading room. We also have a link in the description that our viewers can go to join that. What will viewers get if they go and join you to trade with you for a week?
Yeah, so I'm a very old school type of trader. I was formed as a Wyckoff technician, and where we look at the market as a sort of heuristic totality. So we're watching metals, we're watching futures, we're really watching treasuries and currencies, and we're finding pockets of momentum in the market using strong technical analysis. Intraday, we do a lot of tape reading and order flow analysis, and just have a great time. So if you're looking for things that are moving, you'll be in the right place.
There you go. All right. Well, we've been on the line with JR Romero, of course, coming over from T3 Trading. We love our T3 Tuesdays here. JR, thanks for joining us on Pre-Market Prep this morning.
Pleasure, guys. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, JR.
All right, guys, we've got about 13 minutes left. Let's see how McDonald's is doing, while this call is going on, if they gave anything with
I don't know if they said anything. It hasn't really moved.
No. Okay, so McDonald's CEO on E. coli outbreak says, "We are sorry for what our customers have experienced." Says recent E. coli cases deeply concerning, but so far nothing
didn't
else
say he's
there.
passed it. Didn't say it's didn't say anything yet.
Yeah, more apologetic tone than saying like, "Oh, we're moving past this here." So, real quick, let's get over to some earnings previews for this week. We kind of talked about it there with JR for a second, but Google is gearing up to report today after the close. And Google, I mean, we JR mentioned it too with kind of, you've got this regulatory, it's concerns right now with Google if you're a long-term investor. And this will be,
there's a lot more concerns with Google if you're a long-term investor. And I mean, it is a diversified company. They have a lot of other cool things obviously cooking over there. But you look at the forward PE at 19 and you say, why would I not buy Google at 19 when I'm going to pay 35 times earnings on a forward basis for Nvidia? The reason is I believe there is competition, intense competition coming for search. And it's kind of already starting and it's kind of already here. And if you get these AI chatbots all over the place, from CROX to Meta's talking about their search chatbot, to Microsoft's chat and to ChatGPT and to all these, there's going to be intense competition coming for search. And not that that's all of Google's revenue, but it's still a big portion of it. And I think that's why this doesn't get the premium multiple that a lot of others. And it's also why the stock has underperformed this year. I mean, when you look at the Magnificent Seven and you look at, how well tech has done this year, yes, Google is up. But, you look, 193 was the high back in July. A lot of other stocks have got back near those highs. Google is not even close here. So this is a very important report for Google. They need to show that they are, obviously, not getting hit by, these chatbots, and, that this is, still a growth story here, because the jury is out right now on Google and whether this is still a growth story or not.
I love the technical setup in this one. I mean, sometimes your 50% retracements are good. sometimes are absolutely fantastic here. And I just love this level. And this is what I'll be focusing on longer term here. You hit that old time high back in July at 193.31. You troughed in September after the August low. That's pretty interesting. At 148.20. You could have drawn up technically any better. 170.50 is the halfway back. You had a daily high there in August. You had a daily high there in later in August. Another one end of September. You just hit it yesterday. The onus is on the bulls is to, I don't know about the report and the up and down and everything. They establish a bid here over this 170.50. Then the Googster, it's on its way to work itself much higher. But if it fails here, it can't get back, then, you made a much lower high in a really strong tape. So the relative strength here is you get a mixed report, you get a bad market, and you might be seeing this thing back at 150. But we'll see how the numbers come out today.
And then, of course, we know the stocks that typically move with Google, especially on its advertising numbers. Meta, which reports tomorrow. If Google either beats by a lot on the advertising or misses, that should move Meta. And then Snap reports tonight, the same time as Google. It used to be
that a Snapper?
Nah, right around $10. It used to be that Snap reported like earlier than the other two, and Snap would actually move Google and Meta, which was kind of weird because Snap
moved it.
Is such a smaller company than those two. So just something to watch. Again, if you're like trading Meta for its earnings, just know that Meta could be volatile on Google's earnings tonight. Let's kind of backtrack here because I did miss one stock that reported earnings that we haven't talked about yet, and that is Pfizer. I saw someone in the chat asking about Pfizer. So Pfizer reported EPS of $1.06. That beat the 62-cent estimate. Sales came in at $17.7 billion. That beat the $14.95 billion estimate. So huge beat on sales and EPS there. Adjusted EPS view for fiscal year 24 to 275 to 295 from 245 to 265. So that was strong as well. Again, I don't know why really the stock isn't up more on this report because it seems good across the board.
You know what is utterly amazing is you look at big pharma, and I've traded big pharma for decades, and you always thought the big ones were like Pfizer, Merck, Joel named the same ones, Lilly, Bristol Myers. Those were like the four big guns, weren't they, Joel? The four big guns of pharma. Mm-hmm. Would you argue with same names? Pfizer, Merck, Bristol Myers, and Lilly. And then you have this like three of them that did not participate in the weight loss drugs at all, with Bristol Myers, Merck, and Pfizer, all trading PEs 10 or under. And then you have Lilly, that obviously, is the leader in the weight loss drugs. And its PE, just going to go to the forward basis just for fun here. I'm looking at my Benzinga Pro. Its forward PE, its current PE is 110, but it's always bad look at current PEs. It's 39. So, you got a company that's basically trading 4 times the valuation of the other pharmaceutical companies because they have a weight loss drug. If you're sitting there and you're like a manager and you're at management and you're like looking at this and saying, why does Lilly get this premium valuation? We don't. You know why. They know why. There's got to be some interest in some of these other drugs. There's got to be some interest in some of these smaller companies like a VKTX. I've got to think there's going to be multiple companies. If they come out in a week, VKTX, and actually, looks like, that they're going to hit, phase 2, and they're giving us good data going forward and, moving and obviously along to phase 3 here. At what point in time do you say, I'll pay 10, 12 billion just to try to grab a little piece of the growth? Like, perspective. You can say, whoa, that's a really big purchase. But, the market cap of a Merck is $264 billion. The market cap of Pfizer is $163 billion. The market cap of Bristol Myers is $106 billion. These companies can afford to pay 14, 15 billion to get in the weight loss, into the weight loss drug area. That's why I keep saying I'm holding my VKTX. I just think it's got to be a target for some of these. And maybe there's some other ones too. There is some other companies out there, smaller ones as well. But I got to think they've got to be thinking about this. And until they show us, what they're going to, or maybe they're working on their own drugs behind the scenes, but they're not, I don't think. I mean, this has just been the tale of two tapes. The tale of the pharmaceutical companies that are participating in weight loss, and the tale that the ones that aren't. And the ones that aren't just continue to leak, and nobody cares.
Wow, what happened to VKTX yesterday? Got up over 80 and then
buyer exhaustion. And
Yeah.
again, we can say, but I've traded stocks professionally for 20, how many years, Joel? Holy, I'm getting old here now. I started at 25 years. I started in 1999 at Bright Trading. Stocks do not go straight up, because I had literally what you just asked me. I had 4 people text me or message me yesterday. What happened to VKTX? Why is it down? Why is it down? I don't get it. Why, Dennis? Did you sell? Why is VKTX down? It went from 60 to 82 in 2 days. They typically just don't go 82 to 100 in the next 2 days. There usually is a pullback. There usually is a retracement. There usually is a dip to buy. So I think VKTX comes down to that 70 area. I think it's another buying opportunity. Again, this is a speculative stock, because if the trial results come out and they're bad, the stock can lose 50% of its value like that. I don't think they're going to be bad. Obviously, the market doesn't think they're going to be bad. The conference call, the executives were talking on the call like they're not going to be bad. So that's why the stock lifted from 60 to 80, because they were kind of giving us a preview that they thought the results were going to be pretty good. I think 70 is a buy on VKTX. I stay long. Again, speculative money, because this is, a high-risk stock. But I think the return here is pretty good too.
All right, real quick, we've got about 3 minutes left. We did discuss it yesterday, but I think it's worth mentioning again this morning. Boeing trading down another 2% this morning. So the offering that we talked about yesterday, we reported, and it was initially, I think, going to be $15 billion. Now it was revealed that it's actually raising $21 billion through share sales. So this is one of the largest offerings ever from a public company. And you saw the stock close down $4.30 yesterday, down another $2.70 today. I'm not ready to buy it right here, but I think here pretty soon I'd be ready to take a stab at Boeing.
You're in an area where there's lots of support, 146 to 148. If you're going to
lows.
take a shot,
go back to the COVID lows.
If you're going to take a shot, it's now. It's now. But the news flow on this stock is it's the worst stock for negative news flow that has ever maybe existed in the stock market. I mean, they talk about, yes, now they're pricing the offering at 143. They had to go that far down.
Wow.
They had to go down to $143
really?
to get anybody to bite on a secondary here. That's significant. They also upsized it, Joel. They're like, let's just sell even more shares because we got to pay off this strikers, so we better just sell off more. This company could be in a cash burn situation for a very long time, folks. But if you want to take a shot, there is support here. Ignore all the news, ignore all the fundies, ignore everything else, because that is all terrible for Boeing. But if you're just looking, you want to take a shot, there's support at 146. I am not taking that shot because I can't handle what's coming tomorrow. But a lot of bad news has got to be in this stock now, to AB's point. I mean, they upsized the offering. They're raising more. They had to go way down the hole to $143. I think you find buyers in the 146 to 148 area. So I'm with you, AB, maybe on a trade. But again, I just don't know long term. It's such a poorly run company.
Well, yesterday I said, well, let's wait to see where the offering price is, right? And see if that becomes the floor. Right now, Dennis, you mentioned the multiple lows here at 146, and then you got the 143 number. So that's the only thing. I mean, I'd like to know what they're doing with all that money, but there it is, coming up on support, and then 143. If you want to take a shot, but we've said that so many times, and then boom, it just breaks down. So keep an eye. Good levels there, coming back on the upside. Yesterday's close and low were right next to each other. So if you get a pop, 150.60, 150.69, that will fill the gap in Boeing.
All right, well, that brings us right to 9 a.m. Again, this week, all week, very jam-packed with different earnings reports. Tomorrow morning, we'll be discussing Google and some of the other big companies that reported today after the close and tomorrow before the open. In terms of economic data, not a lot. We didn't really have anything today. Tomorrow, we have ADP employment at 8:15, GDP at 8:30, and then Thursday will be PCE. So some more economic data coming this week, as well as the earnings reports. Of course, the election next Tuesday. So lots to talk about. And here on Pre-Market Prep will be your one-stop shop to get all the information you need before the market opens. Joel, Dennis, any final words before we sign off for the day?
So many companies reporting in the next 48 hours. I think it's 500 companies in like 48 hours. So it's going to be crazy. And there's so many big names here. So to AB's point, the next move on the S&P is going to be dictated by the mega caps. And in the next 3 days, I guess if you count Thursday, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon. That is all that's going to matter to the S&P. They are going to be market movers.
Just trying to hold the pre-market low. Don't have much after that. I think you get back anywhere near unchanged. I think you find pretty good, sellers. Quiet ranges the last 2 days. Kind of had that elevated VIX, but market just hanging in there ahead of the election. But tomorrow, market calendar, new guest on Pre-Market Prep. None other, Matthew Bryson, Managing Director, Equity Research, Wedbush Securities.
Nice.
Are you guys ready for this? Covering the enterprise hardware sector, AMD, Intel, Micron, NVIDIA, Seagate, Supermicro, Taiwan Semiconductor. What more can you ask for than a look at the hardware, what is it called? Enterprise hardware sector. Matt Bryce at 8:35. Don't miss it.
There you go. All right, we do have live trading starting up after this. Stay tuned for that. Other than that, we will see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. You guys know where to go. We will see you then. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Please smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. With that, guys, stay green, and we'll see y'all tomorrow morning.